Hello everyone, this is Amber. I'm a would-be entrepreneur and I'm here as part of our Next Door Inspiration. We are trying to talk to a few entrepreneurs. We want to understand their journey, which can actually help people like me and others to get into entrepreneurship. I have Rajiv here, who became an entrepreneur at the age of 54, and he's agreed to give us some insight into his world. And I would like to introduce him to us. Rajiv is a life coach. He's a public speaker, an author, golf player as well, and a person with extreme amounts of positivity. So here we have Rajiv. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, good evening to you. Thank you for inviting me for this very first episode of the Entrepreneurs. And I can say, hand on my heart, it's the best thing you can ever do for yourself, but the timing has to be right here. So my journey started from, I was born in New Delhi in India. And I have changed my career 5 times, and each time I changed my career, it got better. Somehow I feel that the skills that we acquire while doing a job can be transferred to the next job, next level. So there's not too much to worry about. I feel people are restricted by their vision and not taking the steps to break out of that circle of being able to take a risk here. But the timing has to be right, like your financials and the family. So I started my career in a pharmaceutical industry, just rubbing people's nose on the Vicks Vaporub, and that gave me a confidence to deal even with the rural people and the urban people. Then I went to the publishing industry, and I worked there for 10 years with a prominent Indian publishing house. I traveled all of India as a sales manager, and then the whole of the world as an international sales manager, covering about 70 countries plus. Yeah. So that broadened my vision, dealing with ambassadors of our country or heads of states, because we were publishing biographies of certain important leaders. Came to England, worked in a bookshop for 1 year, 7 days a week, £7,000 salary, and a family to run here. So it was not easy, but that was challenging.
£7,000 for the month?
7 days a week.
No, 7,000 for a month?
A year.
Oh, year.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know how you live on that in London, but I survived somehow here. Okay, so that shows your perseverance in believing in yourself, and okay, tomorrow will be better.
When was this, Rajiv?
In 87, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 86, 87, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then I went into shop fitting industry. I had no idea what the shop fitting industry is, but I learned it from scratch to design a shop and then be able to present it to the people who would buy the idea. Then I went to an IT software company, which is a multinational NASDAQ quoted company. I worked with them for 20 years as probably one of the best salespersons in UK and all over the world. After that, I was made redundant at the age of 54, and I didn't know what to do. But I had good qualification in terms of economics honors and post-graduation in business. So I always thought I want to be something where I can help people with the money matters, because I found that to be the most difficult area people don't want to discuss. It's an emotional area, and they don't want to admit that they don't know anything. So that's the problem. So if somebody would meet me, they will open up very quickly, and that is how I built up my foundation. And my first year, I earned £5,000 the whole year. And my daughter was studying medicine, my son was studying dentistry.
Can I stop you there, Rajiv? So that, we go through a few questions, and I would like
Sure.
to find out, some things, because
Yes.
Age is such a deterrent, because you walked us through so many, different experiences through your life. And at 54, all of a sudden, you are in a new country with your family. How did that
I think
affect you?
the age is not the thing, it's your mindset to be able to cope with any changes that are thrown at you.
Okay.
Because this was thrown at me being made redundant
Yeah.
at the age of 54. It's how we cope with those challenges in life and how we overcome ourselves.
And you didn't choose to go into another job, 9 to 5.
I didn't want to work for anybody in my life again because of having done so well for the company, and then you are made redundant for no fault of yours.
Yeah.
So why should I be a slave to a company
Yeah.
and not be my own boss?
Makes
So-
sense. And why did you choose wealth management?
I think it's an area that excites me because I'm an honors in economics, post-graduation in business. So I think I quite relate to all the best thing I ever learned in life was for 25p in a day, you could have the best magazine or newspaper to read every day, and that's the best source of knowledge that you can ever get for such a low cost. Wow. It's a good investment. So I read books a lot, and then they give me the inspiration, the ideas as well.
So do you think to become a wealth manager, people need to do MBA or economics?
No, you need a basic level of knowledge, like because a financial industry is quite heavily regulated. So they expect a person to be able to have a qualification to understand and explain to someone else. Yeah. And before RDR came, there was no regulatory word. Yeah. So anybody could come into this industry. And in 2010, RDR was introduced, and from 300,000 advisors, it dropped to 30,000 advisors. Okay. So big vacuum in the market, right time, right place. I was there. And I think I also specialize in people who have come from India who are highly qualified, medical professionals, IT professionals, and they wanted some kind of a guidance in how to invest their monies or have the better financial results so that they can have a secure future. So it was a combination of both things.
Makes sense. But if you take it the other way around, so it was not people that wanted help with their money. You chose a field where there was a gap.
Big gap.
Yeah.
Big
so
gap. Yeah.
That is important for new entrepreneurs. Identifying the gap, trying to
market research is very important. So the more I think my skill is I talk to a lot of people, and I come across the knowledge by just talking to them and mopping up the knowledge like a sponge.
Yes.
To say, okay, why should I be an advisor? So for 2 years before I was made redundant, when I was already doing the research into if I went into that field. As a self-employed person, what is the plus and minus of those things? Yeah. So I was preparing myself in the.
So when you were in a job, you were preparing yourself to become
mentally.
Okay.
To be my own boss.
And did you financially as well prepare yourself?
I think I'm very frugal with the money that I have, so I spend wisely, and then the company gave me the redundancy money, and I use that wisely rather than blowing it up on a car or something or a bigger house. I said let's leave it as a reserve money. So even buying a pint of beer, I would only buy half a pint and last it for 4 hours, yeah. So that I don't overspend, yeah. So, but these were the foundation years, and they helped me out, yeah.
That's brilliant. That's a great thing to learn. I need to learn that as well. So, what was your greatest fear when, let's say, you had a nice job that was paying you month to month, and then you were going into entrepreneurship where you don't know what is.
Main thing is the mortgage and feeding that being able to afford children's education.
Okay.
Those were 2 areas. So luckily my wife had a job.
Okay.
So that helped me to cushion that effect to an extent.
So at 54, you said, both your children were in school.
University.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
quite expensive, medicine and dentistry.
Okay. So you must have gone through a rough phase during that time.
I lived on basics, frugal.
Okay.
Anything I don't want to spend, don't spend it, yeah. Full stop.
Okay. So now that, we have spoken about your hardship, how you had a job, you had a nice, sales job, and then you started becoming an entrepreneur. So what was your transition like? How did you work on that transition?
Well, having faith in myself, and I think if I meet people who are successful or not successful, it is down to self-belief.
Okay.
If you talk to me, you will never guess that I'm not having a great life, yeah? So I will always have that inside feeling that no matter what happens, I'll do better, yeah? Sure. And that, I think it's a morning, when you get up in the morning, I reaffirm my objectives in life and say, I want to do this, and then try to narrow myself to say, this is what I want to achieve. And I keep it to myself, but I keep revisiting those goals, yeah?
Is that the secret formula then?
It works for me,
okay.
And it should work for anybody because it just reinforces your goals on an everyday basis.
Okay. I know you as a very positive person. I've known you since 2014, and every time I talk to Rajiv, I get that energy from him. So he's extremely energetic person, and just to understand a little bit more about wealth management, let's try and if someone wants to get into wealth management, what are the tools?
The tools are that you have to have a basic education that is required for the industry.
What education would you
I would say A levels plus,
Okay.
yeah, or undergraduates,
Okay.
or graduate, yeah. And then the regulatory environment expects you to do certain qualifications called RO1 to RO6.
Okay.
And that gives you the tools to be able to give advice to people, and FCA, you are FCA approved, yeah. So the customer, when he meets you, he knows that you are a qualified person and you are also regulated, yeah. So that gives them a sense of thing that their money is not going to be blown away or something,
Okay.
and they have a peace of mind.
Okay. And when you started this journey, when you talk to people, because your job requires talking to people, doing cold calls, trying to find out if they're interested, and then you go visit them, and a lot of times there will be people saying no. How do you take that?
That is the difference between success and failure. So every time somebody says no, and I say, wow, I've seen one more person, maybe one day you'll be a client, but maybe not today. Yeah?
Okay.
So to me, it's a plus rather than a negative.
Okay.
And I think you have to be thick-skinned in certain positions in your lives to say to the clients,
Yeah.
don't worry, I'm here to help you. Maybe not today, maybe next year, maybe 2 years later. And they come back to me actually.
Okay.
They actually come back because I have done my job in honesty, but they were not ready at the time.
Okay.
So it's not a no,
Yeah.
it's a no for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many hours did you work when you were in a job? And how many hours do you work as an entrepreneur?
That is a great question because I choose my hours now when I work. When I was working for the company, I was working Monday to Friday, like 8 or 10 hours a day. And I was not getting rewards in commensurate with my efforts that I was putting in. Yeah. Now, I get rewarded for everything I do in a very sensible compensation way.
Okay.
So, but I decide if I don't want to, if I play golf today, I play golf Sunday, I can play golf on Friday. I can choose my hours, yeah. Basically, so far as in my mind, I know that this is what I have to do this month or this week or this day.
Yeah.
I just keep myself focused on achieving those targets, which can be done in 1 hour or 1 day, it doesn't matter, it's your productivity, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm getting better and better at productivity. And the second secret is, what you're not good at, don't do it for God's sake, outsource it. Anything you don't want to, you're not good at, outsource it.
Okay.
It's no rocket science about it. Yeah, there are people who will do better job than you in most things, and you do better job in what you do, and that is the secret of success. Yeah,
I believe, I mean, the Rajiv that is talking about playing golf during the week is someone that has really achieved success in wealth management, right? So when you started with that business, how was it?
well, I told you first year I earned £5,000. My daughter and son are studying university medicine and dentistry. Next year I earn £30,000. So you need to have a self-belief in yourself to say, okay, not today, but it'll get better and better, yeah. And I think I live with that vision that end of the day, the rewards are amazing if I just persevere the first few years, you know. And third year onward, it was a breeze, yeah. Because I had broken that circle of being able to earn enough money to pay for myself for my expenses, yeah. So that was the break-even point. And once the break-even point was achieved, I have never looked back.
Okay, that's brilliant. So can you describe us a typical day?
My typical day is get up in the morning and then I think you'll be surprised. I have a pen and paper in every room. In every room, kitchen, lounge, everywhere. Anything that comes to my mind, I put it on a piece of paper. So if I have to do certain things, somebody rang me today, who is your best friend, he texted me at 7 in the morning to say he wants to top up his pension.
Oh, wow.
I was ringing him at 8 a.m. today on a Saturday and he was fast asleep. But I did not, the phone kept ringing. And eventually he picked the phone up and I said, you have texted me today and you want this done by Monday. I'll do it in 1 hour and I'll send you the information and you just do the basic making the payment, yeah. So you cannot get better service than that. So I am very customer focused. I think I just live by helping my customers, you know. And everything else falls into place. Because they trust me now to say, if I tell something, I can rely on this man, yeah.
Can you give us an example of, let's say you met a customer and they straight away said, Rajiv, yes, here it is. I mean, maybe it's me, but can you give us one example of such customer? And also one customer who was extremely hard and you had to, talk to them several times.
Oh, so you do get people who will use your knowledge and then not do anything. And I treat it as an experience.
Okay.
Okay. And I get better every time because I am good at questioning now.
Okay.
So I pre-qualify a client in as much I can do it. So by sending them information like advanced questionnaire,
Okay.
and if they don't answer, I know they're not serious, they don't have time, so then how can I have the time if they don't have the time for me?
Okay.
And then the best customers, I can say, I don't want to put the numbers in, but it's a 7-figure sum somebody invested with me this week, and that was based because I looked after him from day one and then across the journey. So they sat down with me and they said, yeah, you're the right person. All we took was 2 hours of presentation, and he said, yeah, you go ahead and do everything. Yeah. So that's both extremes.
Okay.
But the negatives are, you don't get disillusioned by them. You learn something from that and say, okay, next time I should avoid that, yeah. And if somebody is just not wasting my time, then how to not put too much effort and time into it, because my time is very, very precious now, yeah. So that's what I think.
So how do you define success?
I think success is probably a combination of good health, because you can't ignore the health. If you're not well, then you can't do well. It's as simple as that. Doing what you want, when you want. I can shop anything I want, and last week I bought a car which is 7-figure sum. I just went ahead and did it because the pleasure is that I can afford to do things which I was not able to do it before. So my wife said, oh, we won't need some holidays. I said, just book it. 4 holidays she booked, yeah. And I don't think about it now. So I've reached a stage where I can have what I want, when I want, and how much, but still being sensible, not blowing the money away, but spending it wisely, yeah. That's my...
So for someone that's in a 9-to-5 job today that wants to become an entrepreneur, not necessarily into wealth management, how would you tell them to prepare? What do they need to do?
I think they should have a cushion of savings, yeah, that can last them 1 or 2 years while going through a transition from working for a paid job into an unpaid job where you get paid only if you achieve something tangible and monetary terms, yeah.
Okay.
So that transition is the key. Most people give up and they don't see that through because they lose their conviction, yeah. And then the wife can say, oh, there's not enough money to pay these bills and all that. So prepare in advance to say, I have enough resources to be able to fall back on in case there's a lean period in my career, yeah, of changeover, yeah. But mentally, you should be prepared, yeah.
Okay. And one question I wanted to ask you about, so when you were working in your corporate world, you must have been in a slightly higher position. So what is your sense of ownership back then and now?
Well, then you didn't realize that, if I never thought that I'll be without a job, I'll be retiring with a company. So because you're doing so well, you get all the privileges, private medical, traveling, attending all the conferences. So these are the perks that you miss. But then the perk, which is that you're on your boss, when you get up, what you do, when you do, and you're helping people. I think I keep using the word helping people as a key to have a solution which helps somebody else. Yeah. If that helps them, they will be reciprocating that in having faith in you to do business with you. Yeah. That's my motto. Yeah. Help.
So if you had a magic stick, which are the 3 things you would want to change in the world?
I don't think I'm at that level in my life, but I think I'm not that visionary in a way.
Okay.
But I would like to be people more educated about their finances. Yeah.
Okay.
That's something. Be self-reliant in their thought process to say I can do it, and then have enough resources or energy to fall back on when things don't go right. Yeah. And I think it's true with anybody, whether you talk about Kentucky Fried Chicken or you talk about McDonald's, the people who set up those companies, they went through a huge amount of turbulations in their lives and failures, but they didn't think as a failure, they thought it as an experiment to get to the goal, yeah. That's all I think, same way, yeah.
Okay. And for some of our people that are listening to us, and if they want to get into wealth management, can they contact you?
Yes, I'll be delighted to help them with an introductory, see what is the real life in there, and if they are suitable as a matching the skills,
okay,
it can be an extremely rewarding industry.
Okay. And would you also like on the wealth management side? I mean, what do you offer? What are the services you offer?
Okay, we are a holistic financial company, financial services company. So we provide all aspects of financial planning, whether it's inheritance tax planning, it's intergenerational planning, whether it's wealth management, stocks and shares, tax efficient investments, pensions, life cover, protection. So we cover everything, and then the client can pick and choose what is needed by them when. So they might not be ready for everything today, but they might be ready for a couple of things. Yeah. So keep revising, keep revisiting them, and they'll come back to you for more and more because you've done a job well for them.
So one question there, right? So some are born as an entrepreneur, but some thrive to become one. And I see Rajiv as someone that has thrived all through his career, though he had been in corporate world. He has worked as an independent entrepreneurial person because you have switched jobs, you've moved into different fields altogether, but you still sort of like continued your journey. And it gave you that confidence when you were made redundant at 54 that you could face the world. Do you think there was something that actually like changed or gave you that confidence when you were a kid, or what was that?
I think my mother who inspired me to be what I am today. My father had medical issues, so she ran the whole family single-handedly, 6 children, brought them up, education, everything, until my father recovered from that. And I saw that spark in her eyes. She never gave up, to be honest. You know, she just kept fighting with the family. Yeah. And I think that's that inside me. Whenever things are not going right, I said my mom was doing it for 6 children and one single income. How can I not do it? How can we do things worse than that? Yeah. So I persevere.
Okay, that's brilliant. And what sort of wealth management? I mean, do people need to have a certain amount of money to come into you?
No, I think it's a misnomer, but better financial planning would be the word, yeah.
Okay.
In areas that are lacking or there are gaps, yeah. So you fulfill those gaps as efficiently as you can.
Okay.
So that it serves a purpose for what's fit for, yeah.
So what sort of people should contact you if they want to plan?
I think if you need some kind of a guidance. I'm publishing my 2 books now.
Yes.
So they are out in next 1 month. Financial guidance for IT professionals, financial guidance for medical professionals. That can help as a starting point to say basics, fundamental things what are required in the financial planning. And if they find that by reading the book, they can find that what is an ISA or a stock share ISA or what is the protection, they can come and talk to me. And my another ambition is to mentor as many people as I can while I'm in good health, and I can transfer that skill to somebody else, because that will be a great thing to do on my side. Yeah.
So guys, we only have 20 years left. I mean, where Rajiv can actually guide us. So let's use the time effectively with it. So I mean, some of the things.
How do you know it's only 20 years?
You already want to. No, I know you want to retire already.
No, I don't want to retire. I love what I do, 100%.
Yeah.
Retirement is for people, not for me.
No, I mean the point is, I mean you've made enough to retire.
No, I don't want to retire.
Okay.
I want to do what I'm doing, and I love it.
Nice, that's good. That's good. But I mean,
I can choose my hours.
Yeah, true.
I could be doing 2 hours in a week. Yeah. Still, I'm not retired. Yeah.
So Rajiv has been convincing me to get into that business for the last, I would say, 3 years. But
I think I'd rather take her than you. Yeah. What's your name?
Kavya.
Kavya. I'd rather take Kavya than Amber because I wasted all my time here.
we have a 9-year-old Kavya, our friend's daughter.
She's the ideal wealth management person.
And she is helping us with the
interview.
Time. I mean, she's helping us with timekeeping.
Yeah.
And Rajiv prefers a 9-year-old. So that brings an interesting question. So what age should people be to talk to you about getting into wealth management?
I think they have to have some kind of a desire to be in that profession.
Okay.
And if they are not, they can ask the questions, what is it that I can do which I'm not able to do it in my job or my profession, yeah? So I can steer them in a gentle way with introduction, who we are, what we do, and they can choose their own decision. I think the decision must come from the person who wants to be successful in a particular field, yeah?
Makes sense. I think Rajiv has given me the answer. So, okay. So there were a few things I missed out in my introduction. So Rajiv is a life coach. He is a wealth manager we spoke about. He's a good family friend of mine, and he's a well-wisher and a mentor. So he mentors a lot of people that come out of university at his place, and he's also someone that mentors other people that come to him for wealth management advice. So I would definitely, I'll share details of Rajiv, and I would strongly advise people that are interested in moving into wealth management to get in touch with him. And also, if you're planning to wisely take care of your money, Rajiv is a great person to get in touch with. And Rajiv, you already touched upon your books that are coming. You want to mention when the books are expected, where people can find these books, how they can buy those books from you?
Yeah, so the books will be out by early April, and they'll be available on Amazon and in the Kindle books version. Yeah, both Amazon and Kindle. Yeah.
Okay. So and to add to it, Rajiv has agreed to help us on a charity that we are running in India. So we are trying to buy some basic amenities for a village school, and Rajiv has agreed to share the profits from these books for that cause.
So for the first year, all the profits from the book will be going into that charity, the nominated charity. And I hope we can sell lots of books so that the charity can benefit, the children can benefit here. So it's a very good noble cause, and it's a win-win situation for everybody. Yeah.
No, that's the charity part to one side. I think the book will be very informative. If you want to read about wealth management, you go into Google, right? So there are so many articles. There is not one concise article that says how you can manage, whether you can set up an ISA, whether you can go into SIPs, etc. But someone that is in the industry, someone that has so much experience with so many different varied clients, if he's coming up with a book, I think that's going to be very helpful for everyone.
Thank you.
And Rajiv, before we end this, do you want to say anything? The secret formula you've already defined.
I think we are living in a very, very wealthy country, very prosperous country. All the resources are available here to do well. Take advantage of those things, because sometimes in India we don't get all those chances in our lives. Here, it's an entrepreneur country. It's a very people can make good living out of this, and if they have the confidence and the skill sets, go for it.
That's brilliant. And thank you very much, Rajiv, and Vidya, who's helped us with making the video, and Kavya, as I mentioned.
Future wealth manager.
Yeah, she's helped us with the timekeeping. So thank you, everyone, and we will come back with... So one thing, before I leave, so if you have any questions, if you want to talk to Rajiv, or if you want me to ask any other questions, please do drop us a message. We will leave you with contact details. And thank you very much for listening to us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Appreciate your interest in knowing things.
Thank you, Rajiv.